We'll talk about three aspects. We'll talk about segmentation, talk about dispersion, and we talk about immersion. These are the opportunities for European SME tourism service providers. Segmentation is an opportunity because many Chinese have a hobby, or more than a hobby, something they call serious leisure. So they don't start their decision-making process by saying, what can I do in this or that country? But they say, my hobby is golf, mountain biking, bird photography, Western food. And they say, where can I find a good place to pursue my hobby? So if you are visible in the communication in their special interest fields, then you have a chance to attract these customers and have them for not just staying one night, but longer term, and also spending considerable amounts of money. The second opportunity is dispersion. This is an important point. When we talk about Chinese outbound tourists coming to Europe, it's not just that we say, okay, let's get more customers. In many places in the high season, at the main tourist destinations, you're fully booked anyway. So there's no point in having more people coming when your hotels are already full. So with Chinese customers, you have a chance, especially with individual customers, to bring them to those parts of Europe and those parts within a given country in Europe where there have not been so many other visitors yet, if you have a good story, if you give a good reason, if you are offering products which are important for Chinese travellers. At the same time, I think we all agree that the biggest problem with tourism in Europe is seasonality. So that Chinese, as most of them are not coming here for the beach or the sunshine, are much more interested in attractions. If you do something especially for the Chinese market, then they will also come at times of the year when the weather is not blue sky or sunshine all the time, if there is a reason to go there. Just one example. Last week I was in Wallonia to do Chinese tourist welcoming training for tourism service providers there, and we discussed that this is where Mr. Sax, the inventor of the saxophone, was born, and they will soon have a saxophone museum there too. So if you organise a jazz festival for saxophone players and you bring some Chinese players there to join, you can do this in November or in February or other times of the year when it's low season. The Chinese interested in jazz, and there are several million of them, will come to visit regardless of the weather because they will be interested in the topic and the activity. The third one is immersion. We see that there are a lot of discussions now in the tourism industry and in tourism scientific circles of what the wonderful Copenhagen people call the end of tourism. They say that there is now local hood instead of being a tourist. They wish to be part of the local culture, if only for a few days. We see that a lot of Chinese experienced travellers are sharing especially this wish, that they say, I want to stay 3-4 days and I want to have as many instant contacts and friends and activities and experiences as possible, so I can really feel like I'm a Danish person, a Portuguese person, a Serbian person for 72 hours. So if you can offer this, then also inbound tour operators and other service providers also have a chance to have a growing business with Chinese visitors. There are also challenges, of course, connected to this, and so we can see that you need to identify the suitable market segment in China. So you need more market research and better strategy development. So the time when the Chinese were coming just by themselves are over. The low-hanging fruits have been picked. So you need to invest more in this kind of research and strategy development. And this, obviously, for one SME, is possibly not able to do. So there is a challenge of successful networking to do this together and to agree a common strategy. You've still to tell stories about your place in China, but preferably not different ones, but one strong one. Dispersion. This is something where, in my experience over many years, a lot of destinations see themselves as a destination which has a traditional product. We are a beach destination, or we are a landscape in the countryside. We don't have much to look at. And finding that Chinese visitors, for instance, are looking for quiet and relaxation. So the absence of a lot of hullabaloo can also be a product. So you have to also critically examine yourself and ask if our self-image is still the right one for this new market, or is our self-image hindering us from addressing this new market? For immersion, it is necessary to say immersion needs to be on the host side, on our side in Europe, an openness based on information, based on preparation, based on training, on knowledge, that all of us are embracing foreigners and persons from different cultures who are coming to visit us. This is certainly something that not only in tourism is very important, a state of mind we hopefully all have.